Hey cuties! Today we are painting Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon. If you want to paint with me, you will need a sheet of paper and some colored pencils. We'll start with the face and draw the eyes. It's best if you watch me first. Then you can copy everything onto your paper. We draw the shape of Hiccup's eyes with two lines. The first line is flat, and the second has a large curve. Now we draw a large circle in each eye. And inside this large circle, we draw a smaller one in the center. We place the eyebrows above the eyes. First we draw a wavy line above each eye. Then we make the eyebrows a little thicker. Very well done, the eyes are finished. Now we'll move on to Hiccup's nose. We'll draw the nose exactly in the middle below the eyes. When you're done, we'll move on to the lips. We'll draw these a little bit below the nose. We draw the lips with two lines. The first is large and wavy. The second is centered below the first and is quite short. Next we draw the shape of Hiccup's face. We draw the chin a little below the lips. And then we draw the right side of the face. Next we draw the left side of the face. As you can see, I left a small gap between the chin and the right side of the face. I did this because Hiccup's head is turned slightly to the right. Next we draw the ears. These start at about the same height as the lips. We draw the ears a little higher, roughly to the height of the middle of the nose. However, we leave the tops of the ears unpainted, as Hiccup's stringy hair will cover them later. Well done, we've done the hardest part. Now for the hair, we'll start with the hair above the forehead. Here we'll draw strand by strand. We'll make the individual strands crisscross each other. Sometimes curved to the left and sometimes to the right. Sometimes a little longer and sometimes a little shorter. There's no right or wrong here. The hair should simply look shaggy and frayed. It may look a little difficult, but it's actually quite easy. I'm sure you can do it just as well as I can. If you don't want to draw so many strands of hair, simply make the strands a little wider. In this video you can clearly see that even I sometimes think about how to align the hair. But the only thing I really pay attention to is creating a beautiful and natural head shape. The drawing is looking better and better. We have now finished the hair above the forehead and the hair on top of the head. Now we can draw the strands around the ears. I paint the hair again using the same technique, starting on the left side of the face. Once again I paint strand by strand. And once again I paint crisscross. Sometimes I paint slightly thinner strands, and then thicker ones. Then again slightly shorter or slightly longer ones. I paint the strands around the entire face. Now we have to repeat the same thing on the right side of the face. Because here too, we are drawing lots of strands of hair. If you join in, I'm sure you'll be able to draw the hair really well. After all, you've had plenty of practice drawing strands of hair. That's enough for now with the hair. Now let's move on to the neck. Under the face on the left side, we draw a longer line. Then we also make a line under the face on the right side. Next we will draw the collar of the jacket. It's best if you watch again briefly first. Then you can copy me again. Next we move on to the right shoulder. I also paint a buckle on the jacket, but you can leave it out if you want. It's really just a small detail. And now let's move on to the left shoulder. Before we color in Hiccup, we'll draw a few more hairs on the left side. And after that we're done. If you want you can watch me color Hiccup now. But this part of the video is much faster. First I painted the eyes with 2 shades of green. Then I focused on the brown eyebrows and hair. As you can see, I don't paint the individual strands of hair completely. Instead I leave a lot of it unpainted. I do this because I want to paint lighter and darker strands. This gives me the opportunity to mix other colors into the hair. So I used ochre as a second color and painted over the brown with it. Then I used a slightly darker brown and painted it over scattered strands of hair. Sometimes I even paint over it a second or even a third time. When I do that I usually don't use the same color again, but choose a lighter or darker one. And sometimes when you mix completely different colors together, you can even create entirely new colors. It's truly amazing. On the spur of the moment I decided to paint a few more strands of hair. Even as a little girl I always thought it was great that painting offers so many possibilities. As an artist you get to decide how you paint. And you decide also what you paint. I can expand my picture at any time and paint more details into it, thereby changing my picture. Or I can simply change colors if I don't like them. Then I just paint over the color I don't like with another color. And so I think that's really great. Did you notice that my first color for the face was much too light? That's why I painted over it several times with a darker color. But I can only do that if I start with a very light color. Only then can I effortlessly build up to darker and darker colors. On the other hand, if I start too dark from the beginning, then it could ruin my entire picture. Many people smile at painting and dismiss it as trivial. That's simply because these people have other interests, and they cannot understand what painting can achieve. For me, painting is not just painting. Sometimes it is a real experience. I enjoy it immensely. Sometimes I forget where I am, and time simply stands still. And when what I paint turns out beautifully, painting makes me really happy. I bet if painting is important to you, then you understand exactly what I mean. Finally, I painted the jacket. I used a gray-blue color for this. And here I painted over the same areas several times in places. This was to highlight the light and dark areas of the jacket. I hope you were able to pick up some interesting ideas and put them into practice for yourself. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoyed my video and I'll see you again next time. See you soon.